All right, guys, let's go for a run. So this video is going to be a little bit shorter today. For two reasons. One, we are doing a shorter run. So today is just going to be a little shakeout after our long run this past weekend. We're just going to go for 2 miles. And two, because it's the middle of the day. So baby hasn't been sleeping well. Wife and I haven't been sleeping too much. So, you know, my plans have just been a little bit off this week. So I want to talk about that a little bit because that's an important note for training. But I also want to talk about a couple of things that I mentioned in the last video, but that I kind of glossed over. And so, sorry, I'm just going to hold this as per usual. So the first thing is heart rate. So in that last video, I talked a lot about heart rate and keeping your heart rate low. The reason to do this is something that Rich Roll taught me in his book, Finding Ultra. So run slow, go fast. That's pretty much it. So the slower that you go in your training, the more that you keep your heart rate under control. The more on race day you're going to be able to actually like push yourself hard, and you're going to be able to maintain that elevated heart rate for that longer period of time because you trained slow. So run slow, go fast. That's pretty much the gist of it. I don't remember what the other thing was, but as per today and things not going according to plan. So I've told you guys, like, I'm not the most, fast runner in the world. I'm not, I'm not going to complete these ultras in record times or anything. I'm just I'm a regular guy who likes to run, loves to run. It's a huge part of my life. But for me, it's more of a therapeutic, it's more of a therapeutic output or therapeutic endeavor than it is, something where I'm like chasing titles and goals and, chasing goals. I am chasing goals, but I'm not chasing to be the best. And I'm somebody who does have a full-time job, who does have a family, and who does manage to make it work. And so to that end, last night, for example, my daughter was up every hour almost for the whole night from 8 to, 6 this morning when she was up for good. My wife and I tried to split up the night, and it just didn't work out like all that well. We both are not very well rested today. And the point is, like, I'm still out here today. I'm still gonna go for this little shakeout run that's a part of my plan. Could have been easy for me to say, this is this is one of my building block runs, this is a base run. We're not anywhere close to race day. Like, this doesn't matter. But when you're training, and I said this right here, the same exact spot on the way to our long run this past weekend, time on feet is the most important metric. And I think I'm going to try and stick to that as the most important thing, because I know that I'll end up saying that a lot. But time on feet is the most important metric. So I could have just sloughed this run off and said that it's not a big deal, but I'm not going to do that. It's important. It's important to spend the time on your feet. It's important to shake out after your long runs. So here we are. And the reason that I say all that is because I do often hear people make excuses, and I'm not perfect. I've definitely made them myself. But you can always find time. I could be taking my lunch right now, for work, and, could spend an hour eating lunch and, maybe catching up on a little bit of work or doing something else. But I'm going to choose to actually, come out here, do my 2 mile run, and do the thing that I committed to doing. And so that's when you have a family, when you have a job, you can still make it work. You just have to make it work. I don't know if that makes sense. I am a little sleep deprived, so apologies there. But yeah, just make it work. Don't make excuses for yourself, and make the time. If you need to wake up before everybody else, like I talked about in the last video, before your long runs, do that. If you need to go on your lunch break, do that. If you want to get out there and to finish an ultra, not to finish first or to finish in the top, top quarter of people, if you want to get out there and finish the ultra, just get out there and do the run. Every run that you do versus every run that you skip is going to put you closer to finishing at a time that you want. Truthfully, there are a lot of people who are athletically gifted, and they could just get up and they could go out and they could go for a run, or they could go run an ultra. Gosh, sorry, stumbling over my words. I am pretty tired. Now they might end up walking most of it, and they might be super injured afterwards. Whatever. Like, the point being, you can finish an ultra just by putting your mind to it, but finishing it in the time that you want, that's what takes training. And to give yourself that mindset that you will finish, that also takes training. So that's why we're out here today, and I challenge you guys to do the same. Get out there when it's normally a day that you might skip the run. Get out there and get after it. Actually do the thing. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about your Strava. Just get out there and get after it. So that's what we're going to do today. Going to go out there for a little 2-mile run. I'll see you guys out there. So let's talk a little bit about shakeout runs and why they're important. So when you do a long run, you put a lot of stress on your body. And, if you start to feel a twinge or a tweak or something towards the end of that long run, it can be kind of worrisome. It's always good to have your nutrition and your hydration dialed in to recover properly. But your shakeout run is kind of what tells you, how serious that twinge was. You could get out for your shakeout run and everything could feel fine. Like, for instance, today, I noticed that my shins were hurting a little bit towards the end of that long run, and I was kind of worried about shin splints. Definitely something that I've struggled with in the past, and I found some different methods to alleviate those, from shoes to stretching, whatever. But today on the shakeout, they feel fine. I'm not too worried about it. It seems like it was kind of a transient thing. Oftentimes, sorry for the shaking. Oftentimes that's what you'll find is whatever was ailing you was kind of temporary, and the shakeout is kind of what validates that. The other important piece with shakeout runs is that, especially after you've kind of finished a huge week mileage-wise, and huge can mean anything. Huge is just whatever, a large variation from your average. Your shakeout run can kind of signal to your body like, hey, everything's okay. You don't need to hold on that stress from the big week. You can just kind of be at peace and everything's okay. It's also time on feet, and it just sets the tone for your week. You got out and did your little 2-mile shakeout. You're also going to get out and do all the rest of the runs that you have scheduled for the week. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, guys, wrapped up mile 1 at the turnaround point, 9:36 pace. Nice easy little shakeout. It's a beautiful day today. Happy to be out here. I'll see you guys again soon. Guys, when you get out here for your runs, or when you're struggling to get out there for a run, make sure to have a why in mind. Why are you doing this race? Is it for you? Is it for somebody else? Or something different altogether? You got to know that answer in your heart. Otherwise, you'll never be able to stick to the motivation that you have or that you find on a day-to-day basis. Make sure to have that why to come back to. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, guys, good run. I'll put the Strava up for you right here. Also, in the last video, I said that I would put up a screenshot of the studies about pacing and how people who pace disproportionately finish better than those who don't. So I will make sure to put that up here as well. As you will have seen, did a couple of push-ups there at the end. Honestly, didn't feel like the run was hard enough today. I wanted to push myself a little bit harder. So just a note on that. I mean, you know, some people might say that's performative, but really when you're out here and you're doing these runs, even the shakeout ones, you want to, you know, signal to yourself that you did some hard work and you should be proud of that. So, you know, throwing a little extra push-ups or pull-ups or sit-ups or something at the end of a run that didn't feel like it was as hard as you thought it was going to, you know, it just can be a great way to signal to yourself, you know, hey, you did a good job, you should be proud of yourself, and you should carry that energy forward for the rest of the day. In the last little segment, before I finished the run, I mentioned to have your why. This one might seem obvious to some people, but I had a coach who, before I signed up for his services, he kind of had me fill out a survey to see if I'd be a good fit for him or not. And one of the questions that he asked was, what is your why? And I think that is just such a crucial and often overlooked piece of advice for finishing any goal in life. You know, as it relates to running, a lot of people, they run performatively. And I'm not going to say that I have never been somebody who has, you know, done a run like that in the past to be performative. But, you know, if you're running a race and you're doing it just so that you can say that you did an ultra, you're not going to have as much motivation as somebody who is out there and is, you know, running because they want to prove that they can conquer themselves and that they can conquer their mind. You know, that's something that's easily overlooked, and it's just important to have your why. And I think it's important to have that written down as well. Don't just have it in your mind, but have it written down. One other thing that I wanted to touch on, and then we could talk about the rest of the week, is something I said in the previous video. I think it was around pacing. I think I said pace whatever's natural. And, you know, this is life advice as much as it is running advice. And it's basically just whatever, you are not your thoughts, only as much as your thoughts don't serve you. So what I mean by that is, if you have negative thoughts constantly and they're holding you back, those thoughts aren't serving you and those thoughts are not you. Therefore, you do not have to hold on to them. However, if you find that you have disproportionately positive thoughts, those are you. You can hold on to those. You don't have to let them go, and you should encourage them because they're going to carry you further. So don't let anything in your life that is pulling you back, that is holding you back, don't hold on to it. Let it go. In fact, in some instances, especially if it's another person, push it away, throw it away, get rid of it as fast as possible. Don't hold on to things that hold you back, but embrace those that will push you forward. And that's true in running, and that's true in life. So that's just something that I touched on a little bit in the last video. Not really, but we're touching on it here. As for the rest of the week, we're gonna have a similar schedule. So I know that I mentioned in the last video that we're gonna have a different upload schedule. So you'll see this video today. So today's Tuesday, you'll see this video tonight. Then we'll have another video out on Wednesday. That'll be a 6-mile midweek run. We're gonna try and do that before work, so long as the baby sleep kind of gets sorted. If it doesn't, you know, we might push it to the afternoon. But ideally, I would like to do that in the morning so that we can talk about some kind of practical before work, longish running tips that I have found help me, make sure that I get out there and finish my long runs and also have enough energy to complete the day at work as well. The last video that will be out this week will be another long run video. We'll probably try and push the distance a little bit. So I think across this week, we might run like a little bit less. So maybe we'll do like 3 runs this week instead of 4. And then for the long run this weekend, we'll do 10. That's okay. That's not breaking our rule of like skipping runs or anything like that. We're doing that so that we can kind of demonstrate and talk about some kind of effective tips for longer runs across the training cycle. So again, this week we'll probably hit anywhere from 20 to 21 miles, just like last week, and that will be our weekly mileage goal, for the next couple of weeks here as we're kind of building back our fitness up in this building block. So far, I'm definitely feeling like this is working. Other than kind of the sleeping piece of it, I'm feeling like I'm getting enough recovery time and that I'm kind of getting my my nutrition and my hydration under control as well. So I'm feeling pretty positive about that. If you guys have any questions, about running, about training, about, races, leave a comment down below. And let me know what you're thinking about these videos. I'm really enjoying, uploading them and recording them. So I'd love to hear what you're thinking about as you watch them. Yeah, get out there, do your shakeout runs today. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.